Ha la 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 la. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is your boy Alan Palmer. Just coming to share some opinions with you as to what is happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I saw the journalists from overseas have been confronting Ralph Gonsalves and putting him on his back foot, asking clear and direct questions. And because the world is watching, he is forced to answer. And he is forced to answer in a politically correct format to try to make himself look good. Right? And what is interesting about these videos is that they were holding him accountable via technology by playing back what Carlos James would have said on the night of the 10th of April when they started the evacuation in Chateaubriand. Carlos James declared under no uncertain terms that if you're going into a government shelter, into a government facility, you have to be vaccinated, right? And this was not by error. He was only doing what his master said he must do to ensure that he make it clear to the people that they ought to be vaccinated. But people, we'll go on to talk about that a little and we'll talk about more. But let us still show kudos to all those people who are using their little resources to aid the people who have been displaced, to try to make sure that they are comfortable away from their homes and from the necessities that they would have when they are at home. Let us say thank you for all the people who have been going out of the way, who have been volunteering, right? And I must say, I read a post on my friend Seaton's Facebook page, and I must speak about this today. What Seaton said, although Seaton is from, I think he is living just outside of in the orange zone, and I don't think he have to be evacuated. But Seaton were reminding the evacuants, that the people who are running the shelter, the people who are serving food, the people who are helping out at the shelter, don't forget they are not employed. Don't forget that they have left their homes, they have left their families behind, and they came and they are volunteering. It is not a job. They are volunteers, right? So you have to, I know that you're in a stressful position, all right? But you have to remember to treat them with a little respect too, because they didn't really have to do it. But they know that you are in need, and they come there and they're trying to help out. Of course, there are those who will come there with ulterior motive, who would come to see what they can get. However they can get it, they will take it, right? But the majority of those people who are at the shelter, they come because they see a need and they want to help their own people. You understand? So generally, most of the people who are working in the shelter, that are helping out in the shelter, when I say work, it gives the wrong impression. They're not working. Most of the people in the shelter who are volunteers, they are doing it out of the goodness of their heart. And as I said before, of course, there are people who are opportunists, right? Who will come and volunteer to see what they can get, what opportunity they can prey on. So let us remember that. So show respect, be thankful, to the people, and the people in the shelter. Remember, anytime you start to get upset with the people who are being sheltered, it is time for you to remove yourself from the environment, right? Because you're helping out. And if you're helping out and you're becoming upset and stressed out and frustrated with the people, and they're Christians, it means that you too are becoming overwhelmed. It means that you too are becoming overwhelmed, and it's time for you to take a break from the shelter. Go home to your family. Go home and enjoy the pleasures that you leave at home. Now let us see who are here. I was inviting some people there. Mandy Fisher is watching. Faye. Good morning, Faye. Oh, sorry, Faye, I know you love your people and you want to know what is happening. So, I am sorry that you got in trouble. But God is good. They would understand that your country is in distress, and you are only trying to keep abreast. Tell your children who you're responsible for, you're teaching, in whatever capacity. Tell them what is happening in St. Vincent. Let them know, right? Let them know. Bring them up to date. Yes, Faye. Hi, Monica Spikeman Brooker. Let me go back and see who are here with me, so I don't forget to mention anyone. My niece is here. Karenza, Odessa World Boss, Small Jack. Good morning, Karenz. Faye is here. Fiona. Garfield Oliver is here. My Pastor Oliver, I must say. Yes. Mandy Fisher is here. Jan Hector McDonald is here. Monica Spikeman Brooker is here. Ronald Hope is here. Okay, people. They picked me on the phone too. Okay, I hear you. Nice. Owen Richards. I'm here. Nice to have you, Owen. Linus Delisha is here. Nice. Okay, now we have a few people. People share this video. Let us talk something. As I was saying before, while I was inviting people to come and watch a video, right? That the people in the shelter, Evelyn Lawrence, good morning. Nice to have you. The people in the shelter, you have to remember that the people who are serving you, who are taking care of you while you are in the shelter, they are volunteer. They're not being paid, right? They're not being paid. They're leaving their family and they come into the shelter. Mark Hanaway, nice to have you. They come into the shelter because they know that you are in distress and they know it's going to be a hard time for you and they want to help. So treat those people who are helping you. They are volunteers. They're not being paid. Treat them with some respect, right? The people who are serving, are providing the service to those people who are displaced. Let me tell you something, right? Your service is welcome and appreciated. But anytime you feel that you have to answer too much questions, anytime you feel that you have to do too much for these people, it means that you are becoming overwhelmed and you need to remove yourself from the situation. Patsy Noel Williams, good morning. Nice to have you. That you have to, Jean and Kozak, nice to have you. You have to remove yourself from the situation because we don't want you getting stressed out by helping, and we don't want you stressing out those people who are displaced by being too anxious or being impatient, right? So we have to come to a place where even the volunteers enjoy serving, and the people who are displaced are contented and happy with the service that they are getting from the volunteer. As I said earlier, there are people who would volunteer who are just going out there to look for opportunity, right? They are opportunists, and they will take advantage of any situation. We have to keep an eye out for them. Don't be afraid to complain about those people who you think are trying to take advantage of a situation, are trying to take advantage of the people who are displaced. If you are a volunteer and you see someone is doing something that is affecting the displaced people, speak up. If you are a displaced person and you think someone is not acting in your interests, speak up. We have to ensure that this thing goes smooth from a citizen perspective, right? From a citizen perspective. And it is important that the managers of the shelter, right, take action when action needs to be taken, because we have to realize that we are trying to create the best environment for everyone involved, for the displaced, for the volunteers, for our country. You understand? Because it does not sound nice when you hear all of these nasty things that are going on, right? So you have to nip it in the bud early. Another thing, even before aid start coming in from overseas, we have to remember we're dealing with a lot of different characters, right? There are some people who are trying to use the volcanic eruption and this place as an opportunity to benefit themselves. As I tell you, there are opportunities everywhere. And I see someone had a conversation with someone from overseas and saying that the volunteers are taking the stuff that came in for them. Listen to me. At this time when they were saying these nastiness about the volunteers, no aid have reached into the country. So there is nothing for the volunteer to take. Here we have a person who was lying on the volunteers only because they were trying to get an individual to send stuff to them personally and not to send it in a corporate way where everybody could get. And that person was willing to lie on the volunteers just so that they could induce a person to feel sorry for them and look down on the people who are volunteering their service for free with no hopes of getting anything. Not to send it in a communal package where everybody could benefit. Send it where only me alone can benefit. You understand? And as I tell you, there are people who are displaced who are going to use, Natasha De Brown, good morning, this volcanic eruption to better themselves at the expense of other people who are also displaced, and they will be willing to tell lies on anyone, even the volunteers, to ensure that they get their own way, right? So as I said, in the camp, in the evacuation centers, there are people who are displaced who are going to use that as an opportunity to benefit themselves also. There are going to be volunteers who are going to use volunteering as an opportunity to benefit themselves, right? But what we have to do, we have to be vigilant, and especially on the side of the volunteers, ensure that the volunteers are properly supervised, they are properly monitored, And the people who are displaced are taken care of. And this is a simple thing. I'm not even asking you to share the video. If you share it, if you want to share it, share it. If you don't want to share it, don't share it. Now, this is what I want to share with you. I was reading the book of Enoch, and I see John Charles Edwards send an invitation to come live. I accept the invitation, but I don't know what happened. Right? And people, no, not in Florida. Judith Thompson, good morning, my friend. How are you doing? Right. So this is the situation that we have to deal with right now. You understand? So as I will tell you, people, you have to remember the earth is alive. The earth is alive. Right? Anything that the Most High creates is living. Everything that the Most High creates is alive. When the Most High make the earth is a living creature. Right? And it is shown in the book of Enoch. When you go to, for example, in Enoch 7 verse 15, it speaks about the earth reproving unrighteousness. Right? And in Enoch 8:9, the earth cried out to heaven when the wickedness was upon the earth. So I just wanted to bring that the earth is a wicked. And listen to me, our volcano did not just decide after 42 years to erupt. Right? It erupted because, in my opinion, and from my understanding, is because there's too much wickedness going on in the Grenadines. Look at how we have become so divided. We have become so divided till we are shooting up each other for no reason at all. No reason at all. You understand? We have made politicians divide us so much that we start shooting up each other for no reason at all. Our women are being taken advantage of in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You understand? And there is no one to look out for them. These are simple facts. You understand? So, when St. Vincent cry out, the Most High say to the angels, to Gabriel, open the volcano, let it blow. And let us hope that this is a lesson, so that it could bring us back together to the St. Vincent we used to know as children. The St. Vincent where we share and cooperate with each other. The St. Vincent where neighbors will share salt, and it wasn't an offense to pick a fruit from a neighbor tree. You understand? Let us bring it back to the place where if your children were at my home with my children at dinner time, they will have dinner with us. Even if they get a bakes and a cup of bush tea, they will have it with us. You understand? These are the days that I cherish in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You understand? Sometimes I will do, but me and brother will be outside playing, and Lauren will say, "Ali, come." Brother, mommy will say, "Ali, come in. Brother, come for your dinner. Alan, come and sit down here." And me and brother will sit on the ground. Uncle Beef and them will sit by the table. And she will give us the bakes and saltfish and cocoa tea. You understand? These are the St. Vincent of the past. Our children don't know about these things. They don't know about this kind of, the expression of love that we received as children. The expression of love that adults have for each other. We have to try and get our country back to that stage where I could have gone to anyone's home and leave there without anyone trying to do me any harm. Where we used to play outside in the moonlight at nights, ring games, Lixa, the Grand Old Duke of York. He had 10,000 men. He marched him up to the top of there and he marched him down again. There's a brown girl in the ring. We have to bring back St. Vincent to where it was. Let me tell you something, right? If you remember this, and this is not politics, right? The politicians have divided us for their own purpose. So now, because I am NDP and you are Labour, and you are Green Party, and whatever they have, our children don't hang out together. We don't want you by the house because we're supporting different political ideologies. Yes, we leave our door open. Let me tell you people, I come from bottom tongue, right? I come from bottom tongue. And I will tell you this, our house never had a lock on it. We never had a lock on our door. We never had a lock on our door. So when nobody was home, our house was always open. We didn't need a lock. We had bolts on the inside where we bolt it up, where we close it up when we're going to sleep at night. We lock ourselves in. But when we leave home, we didn't have a lock because we didn't need a lock. And I am from bottom tongue. Yes, they're dividing our country. Evelyn Lawrence is saying that Ralph is divided. He is a part of the division of our country. You understand? Where he tried to make some people feel that they are better than the other. Hey, listen to me. I ain't better than not one soul. And no politician could ever make me feel that I'm better than one soul. You understand? My brothers are my brothers. My sisters are my sisters, whether we are blood or not. My neighbors are my brothers. My neighbors are my sisters. Let me tell you something, right? When I was a kid, my parents would allow me to go to Chateaubelair, to the Henry, Petit Bedell, to the Henry's home in Petit Bedell, Andrew Henry, Mary Henry, and I will spend 2 and 3 weeks at the Henry's home. I will sleep where the Henry's children sleep. I will eat what the Henrys eat. I will go to the farm and help them dig when it's time for farming. You understand? I'll go to the river and I'll drag water and bring it up for us to bathe like everyone did. Never had a problem. The Petit Bedell people, I was a part of the Petit Bedell community. The Petit Bedell people, I'd run across the street, I'd run out to the road. Me and Andrew are always on the move. Andrew Henry. You understand? I have never had one person who tried to do me harm in Chateaubelair. The same thing would happen in Layu. The same thing would happen in Georgetown. Because we would go to Georgetown and spend vacation in Georgetown at the Barker's home. We'll go to Layu and we'll spend vacation 2 weeks in Layu at the Palmer's home. Auntie Palmer, there. All of them there was in Canada. And this is how we live. We would always go and spend vacation out. No, you can't send your child to a person home, even a good friend home, because they might be raped or molested. You understand? Men and women. Because we have lost our value. We have lost our sense of community. We have lost our sense of brotherhood. We have lost our sense of family that we had in our community. We were not blood family, but we were family. We look out for each other children. You understand? And it is time. Mikey Brown is saying the elders of our society, man and woman, We're big brothers and big sisters to everyone that is in the community. Michael, you're right. That is how we grew up, Michael. You know that. That's how we grew up. You understand? I used to come around by Mikey's and them home, sit in the yard. Somebody play marble in the yard. Arden and Audrey never had nothing to say. They go about their business. Right? That is how we grew up as children. The children in St. Vincent and the Grenadines don't know nothing about that kind of camaraderie. That is why they could shoot each other down without thinking. Because they have never developed the relationship with each other. And that is because of the politician. Right? Look at what Carlos James says on the when people are in distress, telling them they have to do something they don't want to do, something that they are confident that is going to affect their health. If you're going into a government shelter, you have to be vaccinated. Why? Make the transition from comfort to discomfort as smooth as and easy as possible. Grenada, St. Lucia, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, their heads of government says they are going to take Vincentians. Vaccination is not a priority. Ralph Gonsalves lied on the cruise ship company. People, I'm not talking politics, I'm just telling you, I'm just bringing the information here. It's not politics, it's just reality, this is the information. He says that this is what he said in a press conference. There is a cruise ship, or there are cruise ships in the bay who are ready and willing to take the people to Grenada, Barbados, St. Lucia, Trinidad. Right? But the cruise ship operators are demanding that Vincentians who are coming aboard be vaccinated first. Be vaccinated first, that's lie. The cruise ship operator says vaccination is not a prerequisite to enter the cruise ship. They would leave it to the government to determine their policies. You understand? So why are you forcing vaccination on our people? Hey, to Rastaman from Barbados, you know, normally when we talk in Trinidad politics, we talk Trinidad politics in St. Vincent among ourselves. When we talk in Barbados politics in St. Vincent, we talk it among ourselves. When Bajan talk in St. Vincent politics, they talk it among themselves. When you see two Rastamen from Barbados come on social media and want the people to know that Ralph Gonsalves is a wicked man, it's because they had enough and they are not speaking in their own circles anymore. But they want Ralph Gonsalves to know. They want Vincentian to know that they are standing with Vincentian, and they want Ralph Gonsalves to know that what they think of him. Normally, we don't come on social media as Caribbean people and criticize the Caribbean government like that. We don't do it. We criticize our own. But when you see those two Bajan Rastamen decide to come public and call Ralph Gonsalves a son of a bitch for the way he is treating the people, you know that is, it's overbearing. Even the Bajans can't take it. Prime ministers have come on national radio and says, on social media and say, in their country, vaccination is voluntary. And they are not forcing anyone to be vaccinated. And that is after Ralph Gonsalves have been adamant that people going into the shelters must be vaccinated. Because he wanted to show Ralph Gonsalves that's what he is. He don't want to start animosity. Because as political leader, they have to work together in CARICOM. But he wants to show Ralph Gonsalves that there's a bigger picture, especially in a time of disaster. Margo King. Evelyn, did you see the live last night? No, I didn't see that live. Inbox me, Mikey Brown. I remember when Nazi would take us right about now to see Sufri at Belle Hill. Okay, yeah, that's how we live as children. Mary Allen, good morning, Mary Allen. Love you, my dear. Yeah. So, and people. It's not politics, it's just reality, right? The earth have cry out. Mother Earth have cry out. St. Vincent have cry out. I tell all you know, the earth is a living, everything that God touch, everything that God create is alive. When he create man was alive. When he create the earth is alive. Everything that the Most High creates is alive. And it says so in the book of Enoch. So St. Vincent cry out. Let me just bring something to your attention here, man. Right? Look at how Ralph Gonsalves have been using government resources against the citizen. Michelle Andrews used the Director of Public Prosecution to ensure that he wasn't prosecuted. Yeah, Mike, the heads of churches are not saying anything. They are another situation. Right? He used government resources to destroy bigger business. Government resources of state. He used it against the state. Let me see what Natasha Brown is saying. Only some Vincent can see Ralph is a wicked man. Not suitable to govern St. Vincent and Grenadines. Natasha, you are quite right. But our eyes are being opened because the Most High is opening the eyes of the people. You understand? It's all about the Most High. You see, sometimes people are too afraid because they don't trust the Most High. Yes, he used government resources against Yugi Farrell. He used government resources against Margaret Parson. He used government resources against everybody. Why? Okay, thanks, Evelyn. I'll watch it when I get off here. I'll watch that video when I get off here. I don't know if someone sent me because I didn't really get to see, but I'll go to you and I'll watch that video. Right? He destroyed the mooring business of locals in Kanawan. He destroyed the mooring business of locals in Kanawan. Right? And when you are speaking out, you know what they do? They try to buy you off. They try to buy your silence. You understand? Like how they do buy tyrants buying the silence. And that is quite, you see, the thing is that, man, we have to be people of integrity. Look what they did. Shaka have lands that he's farming. They take away Shaka land where he's making a living from. Right? Tell Shaka that you have to sell the government the land. He didn't give Shaka an opportunity to negotiate with the investors. But they buy the land from Shaka at a very cheap cost. And they're going to sell it back at a higher cost. Government is not supposed to make profit from its citizens, especially where real estate is concerned. You understand? Government is not supposed to make a profit from its citizens. He's fighting on Dr. Murray for Dr. Murray's land, Dr. Murray's in-laws' land. Why? If Dr. Murray only know why Ralph Gonsalves is fighting him down. Apart from he being a very black man, You don't like black people? Right? If you only get to know why Ralph Gonsalves is fighting him down, St. Vincent will be surprised. Yes, soon he have already overstepped his bound. Right? He's trying to recolonize St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So that's what he's doing. He's getting all kind of crooked white people from overseas, David Ames and all kind of people. Bring them in as investors. Listen to me how they operate this thing, you know. He bring them in as investors. These people may be small millionaires or have a couple $100,000 US dollars stashed somewhere. These people are getting money to borrow from institutions where the government secure the loans. Mitchell did that with the Atlee Hall project. It's not until the Atlee Hall project went down that we realized that St. Vincent was backing the loan of a private enterprise. When Dr. Roller run out, St. Vincent was left with the burden to repay over $180 million US, plus taxes and interest. You understand? This is what Ralph Gonsalves are doing. When you see them bringing these people like who do new investments, they are bringing them in. They are backing the loans for private investors. They are getting a cut. And you know what they're doing? When things go south, the government is left with all of these loans to be repaid with interest. You understand? This is how the white community operates outside. They come in with these big schemes into your country, in the small, desperate country like St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And they tell you all kind of nice things, that we can bring in people, we can bring in tourism, we can help the tourist industry. And they say, this is the plan, but you have to back the loan. The country will benefit in the long run. Country never benefits. You understand? The country never benefits. Never. Our people who we put into place are not wise enough. Somebody say, Mary Allen say Ralph Gonsalves is the worst thing that whoever represents St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He is a disgrace to our nation. Lord have mercy on us. The Lord has have mercy. That's why he let the Vulcan to Europe. St. Vincent have cried out to the gates of heaven. And Michael, Gabriel, Phaneol, Uriel, and Azaz, and those angels have heard, and they have opened the volcano. Right? Prime farmland in Peter's Hope. No. 25 people must not make a living. Own and hire people. Sell it to investment hotel. Who are financing these hotels? Government-backed loans. So when those people leave St. Vincent like David Ames, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Vincent are left with the loans in their hands to repay it. You understand? And when it was time to collect from David Ames, he allowed David Ames to abscond. He allowed David Ames to leave St. Vincent without taking care of his debt to our nation. And guess what, people? Now that Sufri have erupted, Ralph Gonsalves has slipped it in so that you would not know or you would not pay attention to it. He is saying that civil and public servants may have to may not get paid for some months. This is the man who will lead in. Civil and public servants may not be paid for some months, or some people may have to take a pay cut because he said things bad. You help to take people see food resources and put it in the hands of Camilo. He, in return, set up his family in Jamaica. Why not invest in the Vincentian? That's it. That's it. No. They'll never do that. Because Vincentian have... Look. Marijuana license was being issued. He issued marijuana license to all of the foreigners. Let them go plant the marijuana now. Let them go plant the marijuana. All of those hoteliers, when they realize that St. Vincent have a real serious threat in the volcano, they realize why other investors has not invested in these things before. Right? Because the unpredictable nature of our volcano is not that we're not beautiful, not that we're not this. Investors know. Smart investors who have researched know that the unpredictable nature of our volcano makes St. Vincent a risky investment if they are going to go for the long term. Because anytime Lasso Free thinks that too much evil is happening, which those white people always bring, he's going to blow. Evelyn Lawrence, he said in 2020 he had 76 million for disaster. He lied. Detectives say he lied. Lie detectives say he lied. He always lying. That's all he does. That's all he does. He always lying to our people. He lies to our people for absolutely no reason at all. Listen to what they say, right? Before Super Blow, in the budget, his son says they invested $53 million in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and no one life was better for it. Farmers was not put better. Of all the investors, they invest for farmers, no one in St. Vincent life was better for it. When I do my poor maths says $53 million for 120,000 people will give each Vince. That means he invested almost $400,000 and every Vincentian, but no one life was better. Ricardo Watson, my cousin, says all the investment this wicked regime has tried to bring to this country has failed. For example, Bookament Resorts, Black Sand. They will fail because the people who are coming are not reputable. Ralph Gonsalves cannot attract anyone of integrity to do business with. No one with integrity, black, white, Indian, Chinese, Japanese, would ever sit down with Ralph Gonsalves and be inspired to do business in the country that he is head of. He could only get crooks who are trying to evade tax evasion, crooks who have spoiled their opportunity to invest in other countries through dishonesty, crooks who are looking to dig out the country government's eye by enticing them into backing big $1 million loans for them to invest in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Let me tell you people, there's not politics, there's reality. And the basis of this is that St. Vincent and the Grenadines have cried out the cries of St. Vincent and the Grenadines have reached the doors of the Most High. Michael, Uriel, Raphael, Faniel, Gabriel have brought up the claims of the victims in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They have brought up the claims of the oppression of Vincentian in the Grenadines. They have brought up the claims of the introduction of homosexuality as a prerequisite to get jobs in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They have brought up the claim of this exploitation and the rape of our women before the Most High. And the Most High say, Michael, remove the cap that keep Vincent Valcano secured and in place, and let it blow. My people, my people, my people, my people. Spanish man Simmons says, Ralph Gonsalves is too damn lie. He is always deceiving those who are naive and gullible. And that is the thing. Our people are too naive and gullible. And this is what they prey on. The naivety and the gullibility of the people who are listening. You understand? They prey on that. Listen, some people think that once you are in government, once you are a minister, right? They can put their trust in you because they know that is what you are there for, to manage the affairs of the country. Right? And they tend to take what you say as gospel without examining it. But we have to come to a stage where we start examining as simple people, and the majority pay an interest in your political future. Evelyn Lawrence, politics is what happened in our country. Is our rights to talk when it is fitable to talk, right? Yes, we have a right to talk. We have a right to express ourselves in anything that affects us. And people say, Palmer, how come you always criticizing Ralph Gonsalves? Because there's nothing to give him credit for. Nothing to give him credit for. Nothing at all to give him credit for. Everything that he does has an ulterior motive. Mary Ellen, he does not want us to know what is happening with the volcano. He is always the only one that has been communicating with the scientists. I think he's trying to cover up something. Not even the journalists can get a chance to interview Mr. Robinson. He alone. And you're right, I never even noticed that. I never even noticed that. Mr. Robinson will come and he will do his interviews as the head of mission in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And he alone, because he wants to be at the forefront. It is time that Mr. Robinson is allowed, Professor Robinson is allowed, and the other head of mission is allowed to go out and answer questions from the journalists. I think that's a good point. I never even noticed that. He alone want to have the time. And he will always ask some questions that I don't know. But people, I'm about to close up this live, right? I'm about to close up this live. Share it if you want to share it. If you don't want to share it, don't share it. Doesn't matter. Now, let us get back to the St. Vincent of old, where we were a community of people that love each other. You're right. You're right. You are so right. Evelyn, you are so right. Evelyn, right? The people in the evacuation center. You see, Ralph Gonsalves was hoping to be a hero by bringing in the cruise ship. He didn't put beds, cots, and blankets in the evacuation center, but he wanted 4 cruise ships to come because he wanted to look like a hero. You understand? He was trying to use the volcano as a means of a perpetual reign as Prime Minister. So instead of preparing right here at home, he wanted to give everybody a chance to go on a cruise ship and to run around and they see him as a hero. You understand? He didn't prepare for weeks, not sorry, for days, 2 or 3 days. It's after cut came from Barbados from RSS. That should have happened long time. Prior before effusive, before explosive eruption, that should have happened since the effusion start, in preparation for things to come. And if it went back to normal, you send them back. No, but it was easier. It is more flamboyant and big shotish and spectac and in the public eyes to bring in cruise ship. So people, this is what I want to say. Right? You're right, Mikey. Only for their empowerment. People in the shelter, remember the volunteers. Remember the volunteers are not being paid. They are there because they see a need that our people has, and they want to help out those people who are displaced. Right? So deal with them with respect and love and thankfulness for coming to your aid when you were in distress. Right? Volunteers, anytime the questioning of the people become an annoyance, anytime the service that you're providing start becoming an annoyance, and people are getting on your case, it means that you're burned out and you need to step away. You need to step away. Right? You need to step away and let somebody else fill your place. Whether you are there or not, the shelter will be run. So when you feel burnt out and so forth, and people questioning and helping you become a burden, step away, because it means that you are now defeating your purpose. Watson, Ricardo Watson, my cousin, says, we haven't this time, we have shared the video with the utterance, or Ralph can call us here, how they are being put under pressure by the international community. They are denying the facts, even though people hearing the utterance from the video. Yes, and that is what one of the ladies in a video I look at. They played back the video of Carlin's dreams, telling the people they have to be vaccinated. They also use the hotel as a bribe. We're putting you in a hotel, but only if you're vaccinated. You see, there's a big agenda this man is trying to accomplish. I don't know what it is. We will get rid of them, Mikey, very soon. Now, people, if you are in the shelter, please respect the volunteers. Volunteers, if you're feeling burnt out, if the questions that you're being asked are too overbearing, you're hearing it too much, same question over and over and over, be patient. These people are displaced. They need to know. It's not one size fits all. You can't answer a question to Jane and expect Harry to know, or Levi, or Jenny to know. 4 of them may come to you at different time and ask you the same question. Be patient. If all of these things are getting you annoyed, it means that your good intention may soon spoil, and you may start affecting the people who are displaced. So when that happens, it's time for you to move away from the situation. Go home, spend a couple of days, spend a week, and come back fresh, ready to answer questions, ready to solve. You understand? If you are not there, the evacuation centers will run also. It will still run. It will run smoothly. So step back, step away. Go home. Sleep in your own bed. Cock up your foot. Watch your own TV. Eat your own food. Stay away from the evacuation center. And when you feel good again, you go back and you start to serve your people. Simple, simple, simple. Those people who are displaced, remember that not all of the volunteers have your best interests at heart. There are some of them who are there looking for opportunity. Opportunity to do all kind of things, for sex, all kind of things. Opportunity to steal, opportunity to get bodo and take it home, right? But that is the minority. The evacuees, among the evacuees, there are evacuants who are also looking for opportunity. Who, if you're resting a thing there, they will steal it and hope the blame go on someone else. Right? You have to bear all of these things in mind when you're living in such a community of displaced people. That the people around you, some you will know, others you don't know. Just be careful and be mindful. Protect yourself, but maintain the community within the evacuation center. Maintain the brotherhood and the camaraderie within the evacuation center. You understand? And these are things that the politicians should be telling you. These are things that should be coming from these people. But their vision is so limited that they are unable to scope. I don't think the majority of the people want to leave. I don't think he's lying about the people who don't want to leave. There is a small minority of people who would like the opportunity to get out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but the majority, especially, you have to remember, most of them are people who are homeowners, and they would just don't want to abandon their home to go to Trinidad and Antigua and Grenada for 5 months or for 3 months and abandon their home. They want to stick close to their property. A lot of them are farmers with animals. They could always go back into the red zone and see what is happening with their properties. Take care of the animals as best as they can. You understand? Clean the roofs to ensure that the roof doesn't collapse from the weight of the ash, and especially if rain fall. So there are people who have to attend to their business, and it will be foolish for a homeowner, a family owner, to just pack up his family to go away for 3 months to come back and meet his whole house destroyed. Because what? The wet ash have caused his roof to collapse. I don't think he's lying on that one. He would be happy to send people away so that the disaster could look real severe and they can get more money. You understand? Because remember, the more displaced the community is, the more money for the government. That is why he had the cruise ship. If Ralph Gonsalves could have get everybody out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines on the same night, he would have sent them. Because it's all about money. You understand? It's all about money. For Ralph Gonsalves, not the safety of the people, not the safety of the people's property. And another thing, I see the police have left Chateaubelair. Let me tell you something, man. The police in places like Chateaubelair and Oria and Fancy should not be made to leave. Why? That is a part of their job description, to go in and stay in danger, while the community, the civilian community, leave the danger. If the government had any foresight, right, they would have boats so that the police in Georgetown, Sandy Bay, and Oria, where they are police station, could go close to the beach, but they still have a presence in the area. They have vehicles, they can patrol, but their base will be close to the beach where they have a boat in case there is an emergency and they need to leave. They could go out at sea, right? And escape whatever is happening. Chateaubelair, the same thing. When the police left Chateaubelair, what they have done, they have made an opening for people who will go and steal and all of these things. You see, when you sign up to be a police, you sign up to put your life in danger at the expense of the safety of the community, right? That's what you sign up to do. That is why I took my job as a police officer so serious. That is why I hold my supervisors accountable. Ask William Harry, who gave him the most trouble. Not trouble as in doing bad things, but keeping him accountable. Ask Squaw, who he was most devastated by. Alan Palmer, I keep them accountable because I understand the sacredness and the seriousness of being a police officer. A police officer, when he take his oath, have sworn to put himself in danger to keep the community safe. The community is property and life. Property and life. That is what we sworn to do. That is why some years ago, when I went to work in Calico for a weekend, call coming to the station. Crazy man in Fair Hall acting up, throwing big stone into people's window and houses and so forth. And the whole of Fair Hall was in panic. They sent me with about 4 younger police recruits. And when we go there, as soon as we reach, the crazy man threw a big stone in the police transport window. I being the driver, and my side, all the splinters in my face, cut me up and all kind of thing. All the other officers, Palmer, let me go back to the station, They start panicking. I say, quiet down, fellas. We cannot leave the community unprotected. It is our responsibility to put ourselves at risk to ensure that the community is safe. I took those 3 guys and sent them on one way together because they were comfortable together. They trained together. And I go by myself. I meet the crazy man. I do all in my power to apprehend the crazy man. Me and that man fight on a lady porch. We fall off of the porch about 10 feet and drop on the ground. 10 feet, me and him collapse on the ground. I had to go and ensure that the community was safe at the expense of being injured, at the expense of my life. I fought with that man until my help come. When young officer Campbell came and saw me frightened, when the others were afraid to come, young officer, I think it's Campbell, I can't remember his first name, from the valley, Mesport somewhere there, run and came, and both of us restrained him, put him in handcuff, and take him to the station. Let me tell you, people, this is how you police. When you sign up to be a police officer, you signed up, right? This is what you're saying when you take that oath. I promise to put my life and my health in jeopardy for the safety of our community. That is what the oath really means. But no, they don't do that. You understand? They don't do that. That is what the oath really means. Holy love, you're late. I'll spank you when I catch you. Nice to have you, holy love. Better late than never. Watch it on the rerun. I'm just about to finish up. So when they moved the police out of the red zone, who is taking care of business there? The criminals, the opportunists. You understand? That is why some people refuse to leave the red zone, because they need to take care of their property. Because even if they die, they have their family who have evacuated after the volcano simmer down. Even if that person die, their family will come back in. It's simple. You can't take out the police. You can't take out the police. You understand? If the government was such a progressive government, the police is next to the sea in Chateaubelair. In Sandy Bay, the police is not too far from the sea, so they could stay there. And they have a boat just in case they have to bail. They could bail and they could carry a few people who stay back behind with them. But that is not how you protect a country. By telling the police that boy, you have to leave. No. If I was there, I would have volunteered to stay in the red zone. Because as a police officer, when we have a storm, after the storm, when we're going out, Francis will tell you this. Myself and Francis, we're not going out, so we have to walk with cutlass. We have to clear the street, because we have to take care to ensure that the community has access to the streets. Right? The others didn't want to do that. Me and Francis, Scumbo, Not Ice, Ashley Francis. When we go out, walk with cutlass, a tree across the street, pop, pop, pop. We chop up that tree, we clear the street. Ask them. I will go out there and I would work, because it was my job to protect the community at my safety and at the expense of my life. And that is what I did. I did it proudly. I did it fearlessly. You understand? And that is why I have so many stories. Because I understood my role, and I played my role as I understood it. That is why I had so much stories upon stories. That people just can't believe that all this thing happened to Palmer. Palmer was involved in all of these things. You understand? My people, taking out the police from the red zone is a wrong and bad idea. I sure, if you find people like Seaton and others, ex-police, they would volunteer to go in the red zones and operate in the red zones. Provide them in a boat so that they could flee the red zone if they have to flee. And they will stay there. I would have done it. I would have stayed in Chateaubelair, I would have stayed in Sandy Bay. I would have stayed anywhere. In the red zone. And patrol. Give me a vehicle and a boat. I will patrol the land. And I will keep the boat in case a pyroclastic flow came up and I had to run. Simple. But that's the management we have in the police force today. My people, as I said, be kind to each other. Love your brother. Forget about politics and the politician. Right? Let us thank the Most High for his knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. And I thank the Most High for giving me the opportunity to share the knowledge, the understanding, and wisdom that he has bestowed upon me with my people. St. Vincent, Grenadines, I love you all. I love my people, man. I love my people. That's why I go out of my way to do these things. Mikey is saying here, yes, the danger of being a police officer is an inherent part of the job of being a police officer. You're correct. Zora Black, thanks. I'm going to have a blessed day. Everybody have a blessed day. Help where you can. Volunteer where you can. Be kind to each other. Love each other. Because we are here for a short while. Not forever. We are here on this earth for a short while. Let us ensure that we have a good time. The short while we're here. And let us ensure the people who are near us, who are close to us, who we love, have a good time in this life also. People, I'm God.